Hello, Reckon87, and a very Merry Christmas to you all. Welcome back to Combat Mission Battle for Normandy, and what better to top off the Christmas day after a round of presents, festive food, and the Queen's speech is a little bit of combat mission videos. I joke, I don't think anyone will actually be watching this on Christmas Day when it goes live, but if you do, then Merry Christmas to you. Anyway, where are we and what's going on? Obviously, we are continuing our assault on Grainville Chateau with the 9th Cameronians. We've kind of built ourselves a firebase along this hedgerow here, and we've got 7 minutes left on the clock, and we've essentially come to the realisation that we do not have the firepower and the forces available to really root out these Germans within the time available to us. And actually, there was a kind of a fair comment from Warts and All, this very, very active commenter on the channel, who said that, to be honest, he would have already hit the ceasefire button, which probably is the right thing to have done from a kind of gameplay perspective. Just say, look, I'm not going to achieve this objective. Hit the ceasefire. We'll take the loss on the chin and continue the campaign without inflicting any more losses on our soldiers. And I don't argue with that too much. The only thing I would say perhaps is, well, there's two. One, that would make a very dull video if I just hit that button straight away, and secondly, as the kind of acting as the CO on the field, I suppose, I feel that I should at least have a go at trying to clear out some of these Germans in these positions, even if we ultimately don't take it. And so, without trying to endanger my troops unnecessarily, cough, not including this error down here, then I'm happy to kind of play it the next few 7 minutes, see if we can't clear out a few Germans, but likely we're not going to go anywhere. The only real and suffering a defeat in terms of a campaign, it's not that big a deal, not the end of the world. The real thing that's going to happen is we're going to drop down from the veteran level that we've been on down to just a regular match for the next scenario. So for any unfamiliar with the campaign, there's like inbuilt difficulties that are separate from the difficulty setting. So you've got your standard, warrior, veteran, elite, and iron difficulty you select when you come in a game, which is all really about kind of spotting information and information sharing. But then within the campaign there is different levels of difficulty of missions which you access depending on your performance. And do you know, in fact, we can jump over to a breakdown of the campaign. Maybe I can kind of explain it a bit further, just for the next couple minutes. So if you know all about that stuff, then I'll try and put in a marker so you can jump ahead. Otherwise, we'll put a quick cut in here and we'll have a look at what the campaign actually looks like. So here we are. This is the website I used to have a look at the breakdown of the campaigns. This is the, as you see, Scottish Order campaign. So it's combatmission.lesliesoftware.com. I kind of stumbled across it at one point. It does seem to have most of the out-the-box campaigns built in it. And essentially this is what the campaign looks like from a design perspective. Looks like a big tangled mess of spaghetti, to be perfectly honest, but spend a little time with it, you do understand it, and there's a table down below which helps you a lot better. And essentially, although there are occasional branches you can kind of get with certain scenarios, for the Scottish Order, which generally it's the same mission, but it has it on green difficulty, regular difficulty, and veteran difficulty, just to kind of reward you or make things easier if you're having a tough time with it. So what will tend to happen, so maybe we can use this table as an example. So, for example, the first mission, they have a threshold here, so it's a major victory. If you achieve this threshold, you then move on to the battle indicated here. So if you got a major victory, you would move on to the Road to Shoe veteran difficulty. If you don't get a major victory, so it calls it win and defeat, which aren't strictly true, because if you got a minor victory you would still follow this column, or a draw or a defeat, then you would move on to number 2, which is the Road to Shoe normal difficulty. And so it's the same mission, same objectives, and as far as I understand, it's just the number and the condition of the opposition of the Germans that's going to vary between the veteran, the regular, and the green. And that's how it progresses. So if we have a look at where we are now, all the way down here, Grainville Chateau veteran. Here we go. So we are trying to achieve a minor victory, which we're not going to get, I don't think. If we did get that, we'd move on to 44, which is the Crescendo of Doom veteran. As suspected, we don't get the minor victory, we'll move on to 45, which is the Crescendo of Doom regular. And that's, you can see how you're going to progress through the campaign. There is, of course, certain missions where if you fail, it's campaign end. And also the end, and regardless of what happens, it's campaign end. The other really useful thing about this breakdown is the information on refitting and resupply, because that is, as far as my experience, is entirely hidden from the player in the briefings for the campaigns. And I think, obviously, as a commanding officer, you would have some idea of when exactly you're going to get reinforcements and resupply. Although you may not know exactly how many encounters you've got between now and then, I think having no knowledge is not realistic, and is pretty frustrating from a gameplay perspective. So it's very useful to be able to come in and say, okay, for this mission, I know I'm going to get my troops resupplied and my vehicles resupplied, my ammo resupplied, so I can be slightly more aggressive in the previous one, or of that ilk. Just helps you kind of plan a little better. Anyway, so that's just a quick of that, so we'll jump back over to the mission. Okay, and here we are. So the plan for the next 7 minutes is really just going to be using the fire position we've got and then any brain guns we can get available, just to put pressure on the kind of known MG positions and see if we can't take them out. If by some miracle we knock out a couple of MGs early on, then we might consider a push forward, but I'm really not counting on it. The one priority we have was this German infantry section up against the hedge here, of which we have killed several members, but I believe at the end of last time we saw there was one man with a machine gun still lurking, and I believe he was crawling around, so priority will be finding and eliminating him, so we can really kind of own this fire base. So without further ado, we will probably just hit the button and go from there. So with any luck, we have got a lot of firepower onto this second story as well. I'm surprised we haven't inflicted any casualties, but seemingly not the case. Right, I had a quick pause in. So we have found our German, who has got his pistol out, which is good. Maybe not so good for this chap, because that's pretty close range. But let's see if we can take him out. Yes! Good job. Pick. I can't remember what that rank is. I should know, but I can't remember. Excellent. Alright, so yeah, they looked. You can see they had. No, just one machine gun. That's a MP40 Panzerschreck, and there's the MG42, probably. I can never quite remember the difference between the 34 and the 42. I think that's the 42 with the more angular bracket. Good. Okay, so we now think at least we have control of this firebase again, and that infantry unit has been wiped out. Although I thought that once before, so you never quite know. I will have to move these guys from this position, because you find that with the little gaps in the hedgerows, you tend to get picked off by machine gun fire, more so when they're hiding behind. Oh, hello. Finally get a little red cross in our favour in this window after all the rounds of ammunition we've poured in. Let's have a look who went down. MP40, I'll take that. And give us as an HQ unit, that's probably one of the COs, which is actually going to do good things for us from a kind of morale perspective. Another MG they got back here. Yes, it is. So that's good. That's a first win at least. And no flashy icons from our side, so take what I can get. And the real thing I need to force myself to do is not to like say, oh, maybe I'll just send a flanking force round and all this and all the next thing, because that's generally a bad idea. These hedgerows do well for concealment, but we don't offer much in the way of cover. So unlike the kind of higher bocage, which does offer you cover, not so much the case here. So although I could get a reasonable position round on a flank here, you know, to maybe engage these foxholes, I'm pretty sure they would just get merrily wiped out. Okay, I don't think I just want to check is who is targeting this upper story window. The answer is not much of anyone. Right, you chaps, yes, you need to get yourselves out the way. And what brain guns do I have available for targeting that? Why do you have no line of sight? Because you're all cowering, so it's not counting it properly. Okay. You are you are buddy-aiding him, so hopefully you'll pick up that brain gun and become slightly more useful. The other thing I could do is grab someone who's not doing anything, like our friendly chaps here, and say, how would you like to come and start providing some medical assistance, assistance, I know how to speak, to your friends here. and I'll do that with the mortar crew as well. I just like to do this as a bit of, I suppose, slightly kind of roleplay type elements. Look after your troops and all that, but I say it doesn't have a massive effect in game beyond scavenging weapons and grenades and whatnot. Right, let's just push on. Not expecting too much to happen. Most of the guys seem to be suppressed. I might have to do a thing where I move these to a different part of the hedgerow so they recollect their bearings. On the plus side, we're not actually getting a lot of the way of incoming fire either. So actually see you. These guys can, okay. And they are picks of fire there. No, and this guy here. Excellent. Because we're not inflicting any casualties. You can see they pop their heads up. We spray a lot of Bren fire at them and they get scared and put their heads down again. Which is... it's not worse than it was. Suppressing enemies is usually quite useful. At the same time, it's really getting us any further forward. These guys may or may not actually do buddy because they might feel not in a safe position to do so, but we'll have to wait and see. These chaps should be good for it though. Oh, I think we're just going to roll straight into another minute, and then maybe I'll refresh what everyone's doing. We may need to move them over one action square. Ah, and you have your brain gun. Good lad. I'll move you into this position. Oh. See, I see what you... Now, this is where it's just gonna do enough to tempt me to do something foolish and end up getting all my soldiers killed. Nice. Who was that? This is probably spent far too long trying to work out who was shooting at this guy. I believe it's one of these guys. I'm not sure. I think they're targeting this. Well, it sounds very much like, timing-wise, it works with this chap, but they should be targeting that building, so I suspect something else. It sounds like it was a full action shot rather than one of the brain guns, but that's good. So it's one less machine gun. Now, of course, the Germans can buddy aid as much as we can. I've certainly seen that before. It's not to be discounted that that's going to come back again. Especially as we're not putting any more suppressing fire onto that building. That's just command phase. Let's make sure these guys are... yeah, they're in the right place. I'm going to ask you guys to... let's move to there. So you make sure your facing's right. In fact, let's do explicit facing command. Because I've had the line of sight stuff muck up before with the hedgerows. It's not always the most intuitive. Let's get you into this position as well. Another brain gun in there. I'm slightly worried about stacking there, but we should be okay. And yeah, you just pour all rounds you have into that point. Not a problem. Alright, 4 minutes to go. Let's keep cracking on. Satisfying here is we are managing to inflict a few casualties on the Germans without receiving any ourselves, which is always the key. Well, having said something like that, it's usually the curse. Like so. Yeah, makes a fire back at this position, which is excellent. Although he just sticks his head down and says, nah, I've got foxhole. In fact, that's not even the machine gunner, that's one of the supporting riflemen. These guys are just in the distance listening to firefight. I'm so disappointed I didn't get to use my quality of support. That would have been awesome. Hello, have we just got another one? Ah, we're actually... or is it just a dead body we've seen? Yeah, okay, but obviously we killed him at some point. Even if he's not fresh. So we're doing a little bit of work. You can see the time's probably really the one that's going to kill us here. although we're picking them off odds and sods, we're not going to get anywhere near to taking out huge numbers. Oh, now see, this is interesting because you'll see this man has picked up the machine gun. So there you go, we're buddy aiding as well as we can. Yeah. So just need to take him out again. Sorry, ideally if you're really trying to push in this position you'd have someone continually suppressing that area, but with the number of MG nests on the go, oh hello, then it's not worth it. Here's one less German to fight at front, and this is the machine gun guy actually. Bren just skipping over the top there. So we can see what, if any, additional timer is. Well, realistically, I think we need, I don't know, probably another 20 minutes, to be honest, the rate we're kind of picking these guys away. And even then, maybe not. Ah, no! They have inflicted revenge upon us. Oh, I should have checked where you were standing. Actually, where? Are you lying there? I can't even see you because of the, you are. See what I mean about these gaps offering less protection, because they don't have that little raised bit of earth, so that was poor positioning of that pixel trooping. Unfortunately that is a brain gun that I am not going to be able to get back because of where it is. So that is a prime reason as to why Watchnall's suggestion of hitting the ceasefire button is the right one from a gameplay perspective. It's the one less brain I will have to carry forward. Whereas actually the casualties you inflict on the Germans are maybe less of a big deal. He's medicing, that's good. Are you getting any medicing? Not so much. Oh, yeah, he's medicing. Excellent. So I like to recover the guys, if and when you can. Right, some more. There's a few more bodies you can get to. He's got a couple of Stein guns would be nice to pick up here. To do that. What I should do is grab. I don't know if I can. Anyone's got like you guys. I see you guys are perfect for it. We'll get you there. Probably not gonna have enough time. Although if there's a little bit extra, we could obviously use it for that. Right. Should have done this earlier. You come, say there. Grab that guy's Stein gun. That'll make you a bit more useful in future missions. But I've got a pretty good cover behind the hedge roll, so with that little bit of raised earth at the bottom. Oh. And another. I think that's. Oh, I think that's machine gun guy. It's not. I mean, this guy's not even in a foxhole. That's bravado right there. Not even holding his gun. That's how little regard he had for the British might. How wrong he was. How much do I usually got loads of ammo left? That's good. At least we've got plenty of ammo in these brain carriers. We need to resupply our troops to start the next mission. Are you doing buddy aid stuff? You are. I know your casualty isn't moving. I think you might be going to medic though. Yes, you are. Excellent. Might not get it done in time. But may have a few extra minutes. Really good. No, we're going to overtime. Oh! I clicked right through to the end of it. That's okay. Didn't take any casualties. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see any casualties. But hey ho. Oh, and you didn't pick up the gun. Right, any more bodies close by that I can send these guys to deal with? One there. You guys can do that. Let's get yourselves this position. Help out with that Medicaid stuff. We'll keep going. Interesting to see how much time we get here. What I might do actually at the end of this minute, is just put in a bit of a cut. This is interesting, and then we get a great run that. So, interesting, someone else has come into the... Because we've killed the guy in this foxhole before, so presumably he was coming to maybe try and retrieve a machine gun. And down he goes. So that's 3 nice dead Germans piled up in that foxhole. So like I say, we are slowly whittling away. We've knocked out 1 MG here. This one's operational again. Taking out an MP40, that's probably unlikely to come back. Still an MG here, still MG back there. And there's a whole untouched infantry section up there. So maybe not a million miles away, or not as far away as perhaps I first perceived. I think the real letdown was definitely the mortar barrage was pretty ineffective. A lot of it went long. You know, I'm not sure we inflicted a single casualty to be fair. Okay, we're still going. Right, so what I'm going to throw in a cut if something interesting happens. I'll bring you guys back for it, but otherwise I think we're just going to be trying to pick off as many Germans as we can before the time allotment runs out. So, see you in a moment. Alright, and there we have it. So we ended up with 5 minutes of overtime at the end, and as expected, we suffered a major defeat. So we failed to secure the point objective, which is obviously where most of the points come from. We did, however, succeed in not losing that many of our own troops, so we got a bonus there. The Waffen SS obviously secured the objective for 250 points, and they also did not have that many casualties, so they get a bonus there. So, yep, comprehensively beaten there as expected. In terms of numbers, we did outnumber them 4-1. I tell you, it did not feel like that, but we'll have a look at that in a minute. So we lost a total of 21 men that mission, and we only inflicted 16 casualties. And we lost obviously our whatchamacallit, truck, our Bedford, which is a bit of a shame. So let's look at the map, see what was left. So again, yeah, I did not realise we had taken out this entire Panzerstrike team. Mainly, was that only a couple of guys? Yeah, it was just a 2-man anti-tank team. Okay, interesting. That's good to know we took those out with the mortar rounds, etc. We did take out this entire 3-man section, team of a squad. So it was 3 guys there we never even saw. In this building, which we absolutely pounded, we did in fact get the machine gunner, so that's good to know with our just aerifying this building. But they did still have marksman, there was an MP40 in there, infantry section, so you know, plenty of automatic weapons. It was never a shoe-in to kick them out. And there's an MG42 there. This squad, 2 MG still. So yeah, I wonder if the body disappears if they buddied it then. But yeah, still 2 MG42s on the go and an MP40. And this guy, there's only 2 of them, but the MG42 was still up and running. So there's still, what was that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it still had 5 MG42s on the go, plus another, what's that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other automatic weapons. So although not that many men here, that's quite a lot of firepower they still had left. Not saying it's impossible for us to clean this out, but really, I don't know. I mean, how many brain guns do we have left in the go? Actually, maybe a fair number. 3. So, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. Wow, plus this one, so 8. So was it 8 versus 5? So we'd have a little bit of an edge, but the defender always has that advantage. Tucked away over here, which we just never went near. They actually had a light infantry gun. Okay. And of course their half-track. Cool. In terms of, I mean, there wasn't huge numbers of casualties, so you know, a couple of people taking out with a machine gun. You shot a guy, you shot a guy. Not much else going on. You got 3 actually. Yeah, that's a fair point actually. I never looked at that. This entire HQ section was actually wiped out. Okay, there's only 2 of them, but still, I'll take that. 2 guys is nice to have. Now, I think it was you called down the mortar strike. Well, either way, no combat victories, no combat victories. So that mortar didn't inflict a single casualty upon the Germans. So that's slightly disappointing. Yes, our mortar did take out 1. We must have shot the other guy. So there we have it. Yeah, a tough nut to crack. I think, yeah, had we had the cast support maybe to inflict a bit more damage, had the mortars done a bit more damage, we could potentially pushed in. But yeah, interesting one. Right, but that is where we're going to call it today. So slightly on my shorter side, but there we go. And we'll come back next week with a look at the next mission, whatever that's going to be. Well, we know what it is. It's Crescendo of Doom. So we looked at the campaign map earlier. So I think we've got 2 missions maybe left in the campaign, which I'm pretty excited. This has been almost a year running thus far, and we'll probably go slightly over the year mark by the time we finish. But I'm very much enjoying myself and looking forward to get to the end. So I hope you have once again enjoyed this episode. I hope you've all had a fantastic Christmas, and I will catch you all in the next one. Cheerio!